poetry inhabits the space between various borders, and I think you'll hear that in the poetry as a reflection of the artwork here tonight.
I don't know if we need that or not. Can you hear me without it? Yeah? Okay. The first one I'm going to read is called The Birthmark. I just got a birthmark on my leg. People always say, oh. And I saw the people who looked so much like my family in these photographs, and it triggered something in me. So, The Birthmark. My Mexican skin covers my Dia de los Muertos bones and keeps me from leaving them on the bus or at the swap meet, and keeps you fooled into thinking that we all have forever. My Mexican skin is lighter than my uncle's, the same shade as my mother's, who looks just like her papi, in case you were wondering. My Mexican skin shares the same mitochondrial DNA as my ancestors who crossed a land bridge, lured or chased or just curious, because to migrate has always been in our Mexican bones, I guess. My Mexican skin is nourished by my abuelita's recipes, freckled by the Aztlan sun, calloused by guitar strings that cut deep as I learned how to play my abuelo's favorite song by Vicente Fernandez. My Mexican skin is stretch-marked and sagging from fighting to keep my soul inside when it wants to wander to my familial home on a swampy gulf, from keeping my anger under wraps when some old Anglo mistakes Huera for co-racist. When mi carnal or mi primo says, I don't know what racism is because my Mexican skin doesn't look Mexican, whatever that means. Those things all work their way under my Mexican skin, boring like a parasite that transforms into some winged beast, flapping in my veins, and emerges as the butterfly-shaped birthmark, brown and proud, perched bold on my Mexican skin. And then there was one of a man with a horn, so word association. Girl meets coyote at midnight outside Tuba City. El accordion from the Norteña song competes for the same airwave as a pedal steel guitar while border crossings and billboards fly past my window, past Winslow. A coyote strides across the road, tossing me a sly glance, canine flick of a tail, then temporarily forgotten like a drunken's tale. Vanishing mirage leads me to the business, the hoary song of racing, to see what goes first, my road-hard looks or my sense of humor. Flying past this same green scene, the audience of a kit fox in a creosote bush, a bottle fly electric buzz, the silence of rattlesnakes and stars, what borders on phobia. It finds me stranded at the crossroads, a border town in some dust-mote desert place, lined face, nightmare fairy tale. It plays a siren song perverting reality. Me, honey, strictly fly by night, an ambulance wail that jars sleep, yet in his dissonant song, his siren call lures and lulls with the whoosh of passing cars. The same song screams in midnight dingy dive bars where sanity erodes, and my only son is a blaze of cobweb faded end of the road dumps, burnt out stage lights, trip over boarded up venues, a border in my own life, crashed on the rocks, crumbling echoes of that same stale performance every night. A coyote trickster's tale, let me flail or leave me listen to that song. Warning my ancestors and past loves sang, voices droning like flies in my head, like ghosts chanting from window rock. Time flies me home while radio waves oscillate and fade. The road howls like a theremin whine, a siren call, a coyote lonely song, telling me I'm moving on, going nowhere, crossing that border from sexy to hag too fast in this pitiful tale, old as time. Better turn that radio dial, baby, better find a new song. Because right now, every song, every stage feels the same every night. Whether I fly or drive, I arrive, and I live this recurring tale of a rubato out of meter, life on the road, a disembodied existence, both minstrel and vagabond that borders on sounding like the trite lyrics of a honky-tonk song, a song that is, every night, the same, bordering on flight, though not quite, this road-weary siren's tale.
Thanks. Next up is Alex Avila. He is an author of 4 books, with 2 new books coming out this year. He's a short filmmaker, playwright, and community advocate for social justice. He is CEO and founder of a grassroots organization called 4E and has a for-profit business called Avila Production. Let's welcome Alex. Woo!
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Okay. So I'm going to do 2 short poems. And it's an honor to be here, so thank you for inviting me. So I made up the character's name by looking at a picture over there. I just called her Maria, create a scenario. Just to feel like I was in the same space, or at least close to. So this one's called Black Mexican. Her 2 younger brothers in the background, with curiosity in their eyes, Maria poses. Spaghetti strings hold up a black dress. Her coarse hair, like the bull, runs wild. Her dark skin's the color of sweet potato, while her vieja is in the kitchen cocinando yuca fritas, mocomongos, plátanos y pescado de sopa. Her mother yells from an open window, Maria, Maria, ya te dije, tiene que lavar los trastes. Behind their shanty home, made of scrap metals, straws, muds, rocks, her older brother Tomas bagging chopped coconuts. Ta, 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 ta. Spoons and pans, while his Tío Nando plays his twisted trumpet. Old man Solos, drunk, after a hard day's work selling pescados y aguas. On the side of unpaid roads, fishermen and vendors usually cook them sometimes after dinner, but not tonight. Tonight, the villagers party. Maria's beautiful black Mexican family is getting ready for the festival. Puestas, 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 Juan's placing bets para la pelea de gallos. A festival of Afro-Mexicanos celebrating life and culture, where these dark-complexioned Mexicans look no different than a nappy-headed boy playing basketball in San Bernardino, California. Dark-skinned, like Vicente Guerrero, who fought for Mexican independence against the Spanish and won. La patria es primero. The first black Mexican president, black like me. Hey, you, mulatto, moreno. You black too. Black like slaves who entered into La Veracruz Point. In chains and shacks, in chains and shacks, in chains and shacks, in chains and shacks, in chains and shacks. Tap, 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 tap. Tomas is in the back banging shade coconuts. A curious photographer is in Maria's village capturing history. She tilts her head and smiles for the camera. A photograph reminding us about a story forgotten, lost in the middle passage, that echoes into the sea. Hold the key and explain how Maria can be black as me. Black like Yanga, a revolutionary who fought for Mexican independence against the Spanish. Maria, Maria, Maria. Pero ¿qué te dije? Tiene que lavar los trastes. A black Mexican girl leaves to help her mother with dirty dishes. Flocks of children parade in feather-glittered plastic masks Laughter bounces off coconut trees. Sun is clocking out. Music quenches the ears of villagers thirsty for celebration. Mami, ¿qué será lo que quiere negro? Mami, ¿qué será lo que quiere negro? Mami, ¿qué será lo que quiere negro? Tío Nando plays a twisted trumpet, trying to replicate the sounds of salsa, merengue, cumbia, and Africa. Black people who are born and live in Mexico since slavery. Black Mexicans getting ready for a celebration. Ta 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 ta. And for my last piece, I just want to dedicate this to my grandmother. And that's it. The poem's called Dreamer. Strawberry foot blisters burst, hard potato hands reach towards them to nurse. A Northern American dream quenches a thirst. With humane labor, a small apartment, and future grandchildren going off to college, they will have no knowledge of slaving 10-hour days, no breaks, smothering heat, glazed with sweat, beaten with stress, having 10 miles to feed with 10 cents to stretch. 1,000 yards from the U.S. border, she waits and whispers, Libertad. With no food, no water, she spends 4 days hitching rides, hiding underneath back seats, stuffed in suffocating trunks, hiked, ran, crawled, swam, and had fevers over 100, vomiting the little food she had in chunks. 1,000 yards from the U.S. border, she waits and whispers, Libertad. Surrounded by used syringes, Coke bottles, torn clothes, and mixed-matching sneakers, the desert floor she sits on has become familiar to dream seekers, migrants who call it 1,000 yards of death. Dream snatcher, sunbaker, soul taker. She takes the leftover torn clothes and wraps a bleeding pus foot. She inches forward and whispers, Libertad. Forward to a country so backward, a country birthed by immigrant pilgrims whose children's children's children will call her illegal, wetback, whore, slave, terrorist, beaner, job stealer. But she doesn't look back, for at least that was better than when she was at. Poor, hungry, sick, uneducated. She inches forward to the same country who has poisoned her oceans, where scriptures are being rewritten because God can even teach a man to fish in that land, where factories are being built with no labor laws, and 10 cents a day? 10 cents a day will get you 5 tuna cans. Where her children pick days out the week not to eat so their siblings can eat out that same tuna can. Where farmers inject steroids in their livestock to compete in international markets to feed us, Americans. No, she won't turn back. She inches forward and whispers, Libertad. She inched forward knowing that one day her future grandson will write a poem about a dreamer who decades later fades, dying at Bellevue Hospital, retired, eyes lost coloration, turned grayish blue, lungs filled with fluid, and barely beaten. Foot swollen, she stares at me and bumbles, Mijo, no te me olvides. Don't forget me. A dreamer who sacrificed everything so that I can have libertad.
All right. Next, our last poet for the night is Maurice Howard. She is working on her MFA at UC Riverside and